What's going on, Jeromes? So, Minnesota Vikings general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah was entering his third draft as general manager of the Vikings, and he did the damn thing, man. The acquisition of J.J. McCarthy, the going up and getting Dallas Turner. So you have two 21-year-old emerging stars at two very key positions, and Kwesi has indeed been cooking during this draft, and frankly, this entire offseason. Now, I feel like Kwesi, so he's got some hits, he's had some big-time misses, and I feel like this was a very important offseason for him and Kevin O'Connell as they completely turned the page, because when Kwesi came in, replacing Rick Spielman, it was a bit of a gamble for the Vikings, because Kwesi, not a traditional NFL background, came in through R&D as opposed to a scouting background. He wasn't a football guy, that other thing, a former Wall Street dude, and it's quite a departure. And Kevin O'Connell, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, building a new culture around the Vikings, not a fear-driven organization, all that stuff. And 2022, so first draft class, work in progress, right? So Lewisine obviously broke his leg, didn't quite work out so far. Booth Jr. And Evans have shown promise, but we'll see. Ed Ingram, hopefully he can make a leap in year 3. Asama could be something if he could stay healthy, and Ty Chandler's finally getting a chance. And Jalen Naylor can't stay healthy either, right? So the 2022 draft class, Kwesi's initial draft, maybe not so much, but in season, picking up TJ Hawkinson, who's a top 3 tight end in the league, and he's not 3. If and when he does get healthy, well, not even if, when he gets healthy, that's right. But Kwesi's had some bad missteps in free agency as well. $13 million to Marcus Davenport, basically $1 million per snap. It's not true, but it seems pretty close, doesn't it? But last year in the draft, hitting on a couple of picks. Jordan Addison, 23. Mekhi Blackmon in the 3rd round. And, of course, 2 great UDFAs, and Ivan Pace Jr., who's an emerging star in the Vikings' middle of the defense, as well as Najee Thompson is going to be our generation's Matthew Slater. You'd love to see that, man. And then this offseason, the stare down and decision with Kirk Cousins, as well as the decision with Danielle Hunter. Now, both of them left without compensation. The Vikings might get a comp pick next year, but again, that is a risk. That is a gamble, but the Vikings and Kwesi had a phenomenal free agent class with Grenard, Van Ginkel, Cashman outside. How about that? Aaron Jones coming across the river to the good side. And Kwesi and Rob Brzezinski have done an amazing job freeing up cap space, $100+ million in 2025, to facilitate front-loaded deals for Justin friggin' Jefferson, which by all signs is going to get done this offseason. Of course, Jets contacting new quarterback J.J. McCarthy. I think it's a pretty good sign that he's going to be around long term, as well as paying Christian Darrisaw. And for the first round, when the Vikings did land J.J. McCarthy at 10, as well as Dallas Turner, you feel like Kwesi has learned. And so the first draft, when Kwesi traded down from 12 to 22 to 32, yes, he didn't get the Lions' first round pick, and yes, trading in division, and yes, passing on Kyle Hamilton, blah 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 blah. It felt like he was just figuring things out, right? And then last year, sticking and picking at 23, getting Addison. There have been some rumors that they wanted to move up for a quarterback, but what Kwesi did this draft, you really have to respect. And he didn't panic. He didn't overpay. He got his guy twice. That's what he did. So it would have been easy for Kwesi to panic after Williams, Daniels, May went 1, 2, 3 in the draft. It'd be like, oh, well, if May is there at 3, should we pay the 3 first-round picks plus? Do we go get it? I feel like if Kwesi had been in his first draft, he might have, right? And sure, would have been fine. If May hits, yes, the cost is the cost. But also, when it went QB, I think first-year Kwesi, maybe even second-year Kwesi, would have panicked and traded up with the Cardinals, given up heaven and earth, or 5 with the Chargers, given up whatever they wanted to go get McCarthy. But he didn't. He kept his powder dry. He trusted the board. He wanted to hang on to 23 because he knew that was a valuable chip, as well as that future first-rounder. And then he let picks come off. Right, and he called the Giants' bluff of them being interested in a quarterback. They went with Malik Neighbors. And then he survived a curveball, didn't swing when Penix went to the Falcons. Now, with Penix going to the Falcons, could have been a spot where he would have paid through the nose to get to 9 with the Bears and enrich a divisional rival. I mean, maybe, but maybe not. And yes, he did trade up from 11 to 10, but giving up, the 4 and the 5, don't care. Do not care at all, especially since the Vikings had a surplus of day 3 selections. But getting your guy in J.J. McCarthy, again, well, he's quarterback 5. This is not your normal quarterback class, bro. It isn't. And J.J. McCarthy is perhaps the quarterback in this draft that best fits what Kevin O'Connell wants to do long term. And the fact that the Vikings have great infrastructure, great coaching, great talent around McCarthy. And also, they're not going to be pressed to put him in the game before he's ready to rock and roll. It's the best possible spot for McCarthy, who gets time to grow and show. And it's the best possible spot for the Vikings, who, I mean, Williams is going to have to start day 1. Same thing with Daniels. Same thing with Drake May. Probably same thing with Bo Nix. But we'll see. But again, being patient and trusting your board, letting the draft come to you as opposed to just panicking. I think that showed a lot of maturity for Kwesi, and you love to see it in year 3. And he has absolutely been wheeling and dealing. And then when the Vikings had a chance to get Dallas Turner, so they made a deal with the Jaguars with the future 3rd, with the future 4th, which, I understand the apprehension because the Vikings did not have a day 2 selection this year. They won't have a day 2 selection next year, although they are projected to have a 3rd-round comp pick. But at the end of the day, F them picks, right? You went up and got your guys. You got your quarterback of the future who's best suited for what Kevin O'Connell wants to do, and you got probably the best pure pass rusher in this class in Dallas Turner. And you didn't wait. At 23, you didn't oh, well, hopefully Dallas Turner gets here. Otherwise, we'll take Jared Verse or Chop Robinson or whatever. No, you're like, hey, this is the guy that we want. This is the guy that's going to fit in what Flores does best. This is the guy that we had in for a 30 visit and we vibed with and we absolutely loved and wanted him here. And we went and got him. Right? And, of course, Kevin O'Connell's expression, really? When Kwesi went up and got Turner, it's just like even he was shocked. Even he was shocked by Kwesi absolutely stunting on them hoes in this draft. And even the harshest Kwesi critics, they have to give him credit because, what if McCarthy and what if Turner don't work out? What of it? What of it? That could happen every single pick, every single draft. But at the end of the day, it's about process. And the Vikings, they didn't overpay. They didn't give up future first. They didn't give up the 23 to go up and get your quarterback, as well as didn't give up the future first to go up and get a true talisman on the edge. And now the Vikings are set up. Right? They have talent and youth all over the place, and everything is coming together, and everything is absolutely friggin' beautiful with Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. And yes, again, Kwesi has absolutely been cooking with gas. He's got 5 picks, including 108 day 3, and I love it. I love everything about this draft so far, and basically everything else is gravy on top. And also, hey, you don't need those picks if you just keep hammering great UDFAs like Ivan Pace Jr. and Najee Thompson, and also maybe Andre Carter II can pan out, man. All right, but again, Kwesi, gotta give him some love, gotta give him some respect, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Kwesi's draft so far has been an absolute. It's been a masterclass, man. I love it. You guys know what to do. Skull production value.